kidding me, Crystal Dunn?
Welcome to another episode of Diaspora United. Welcome to the 100th episode of Diaspora United. And with a little assist from Christina, Courtney and I have a very special guest. I can't believe this is happening, actually. My mind's still blown. We have Crystal Dunn with us on the podcast. Crystal, how are you?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing well. You know, year started off and it's a big year for women's sports and women's soccer. And yeah, I'm excited to kick this thing off with you guys.
Well, yeah, we're so honored
so excited
and just grateful, really, really happy to talk and excited to talk. So we're going to try and get in as many questions as possible and respect your time. But first of all, thank you so much.
Yeah, all right, Andre, let's get it started before we just continue beaming. So we want to talk first a little bit about the NWSL and the season so far. You recently mentioned that you completed your first 90 back since being a mom. So how has it been? You know, what has your journey been like?
Yeah, I mean, it feels crazy that, just recently I kind of got through my first 90-minute game, but I mean, that's part of the journey. You know, all of our journey back to the pitch from pregnancy is so vastly different. I think that's what's really cool and amazing. Yeah, I feel good. It took me a while to start feeling good. I think that's the lesson I learned is, you know, as an elite athlete, you kind of feel like you're a superhuman. And so kind of postpartum, I was like, all right, Crystal, like, let's get back into this, you know? And I had to realize that, you know, one, I have to be patient with myself. I have to give myself grace, give myself the time that I need to kind of get back mentally, emotionally, and physically to the game, you know? And so, you know, a game like the other night, playing my first 90 minutes, it was just this huge sigh of relief. Like, you know, it was all worth it. You know, it was all worth the kind of journey, the ups and downs along the way. And for me, I'm truly grateful for every opportunity that I have to just play this game. I think now being a mom, I'm so appreciative of like every little moment, every touch, every pass, every training session, every game. So that's where I'm at. I'm absolutely beaming every single day that I'm playing the sport.
Yeah, and so that's actually one thing that we noticed. I feel like recently we've seen just like play with a lot of joy. So, you know, what else, like what has been giving you joy these days? Is it just, you know, being back on the field or, you know, trying to balance it all? Also, happy belated Mother's Day.
Thank you.
So yeah, what's just bringing you joy?
Yeah, I mean, easy answer, joy to me is my son. You know, I think when you become a parent, one, you realize that you are forever changed. You are no longer that person that you were before having a baby. I don't even know what I was like before. I was like, oh, I had so much time. Like, what was I doing with my time? Because I don't have that time anymore, you know? But I think for me, it's perspective. You know, I think I used to hang my head on things that didn't really matter, you know, like a missed pass, a missed opportunity, an off game, things like that, you know, as an athlete, yeah, they matter. But to me, I get to come home now and take care of this little one and watch him grow, watch him develop. And that puts so much more in perspective, and it's made me a better person. And on top of that, I think it's made me an overall better player.
I'm wondering if so you mentioned getting back to, you know, yourself, getting back to playing 90 minutes, giving yourself grace. Does the perspective of having a kid kind of help in terms of giving yourself that kind of grace?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a kid makes you really realize like nothing in this world matters more than protecting him and making sure that he has everything that he needs. You know, I think I actually joked with my mom recently, and you know, anyone that knows my mom, like she does not play any games. She always protected me every step of the way. And I used to always joke with her like, Mom, like, you know, calm down. Like you're getting a little riled up. And I find myself actually channeling my inner mom of my own mom in myself. And I'm like, dang, I now know why she was getting crazy, or that she kind of went into mama bear mode all the time. And I think it's actually funny. One, it makes me realize like I'm getting old because I'm becoming my own mom. But I think it also makes me realize like you go through such lengths when you're a parent, like you really like nothing else matters. You know, like to me, I'm like, this game, I love it. I've played it my whole life, but I end the game, and whether I scored goals, whether I tripped over the ball, whether I fell flat on my face, like to me, it's like I just am good and at peace with where I am, because I get to be someone's mom. I get to like have this joy every single day, and it's so important. It's something that I wish and hope everyone can experience. I know kids are not for everybody, but I think he is exactly what I needed to like continue on in my career, you know, to really give me something extra that I think I probably needed to continue playing this game.
Would you say that it was, so the NWSL passed, this huge historic collective bargaining agreement. We saw also the U.S. Women's National Team get obviously equal pay and a new collective bargaining agreement. Would you say that was kind of a little bit of like a factor in deciding to become a parent, knowing that, for example, I know in the league right now, it's a big thing of having partnerships with, was it fertility clinics and things like that? Like, was that like a factor, I guess, in your decision?
Um, I would say I was always hopeful that the women's game was going to grow and be in a better place than where I found it and where I started. I think I've always wanted to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom and always knew that I probably would pursue motherhood along with playing, the sport. I think those that have done it before me have definitely paved the way, because it's not easy. Even now with a lot of things set up and in place for us, it's still not easy, because you're sacrificing a year and some change off of your career. Like that's unsettling. That makes you feel like there's so much doubt and uncertainty, and anyone who knows, playing a sport for a living, like your body is your job. So the moment you announce you're pregnant, the moment you are pregnant, and then especially announce that you're pregnant, you're forever different. People are looking at you differently. They, some may judge, oh, she's deciding to have a baby while she's playing soccer. Like, why would she ever do that? And then there's a lot of support, which is amazing, but it still leaves you with that feeling of, will I be the same? Will I bounce back? Can I still continue pursuing everything that I want to do and more? And everyone I talk to who's gone through this path have had that bit of doubt, but I think my whole thing is just making sure you don't live in that moment too long. I think there's always a matter of questioning yourself. Can you do it? That's always going to creep into your mind, regardless of your profession. Whether, you have an office job, whether you run a podcast, whether you're an elite athlete. Like, I think doubt is always something that creeps in, but it's like knowing that, just stay that journey, stay on that path. And I think that's ultimately where I find myself now. I mean, there's been so much change in the women's game, as you touched on, the CBA, equal pay. So many big moments are happening, and now I get to raise a child in a world that looks different than when I was a kid, and I think that that's really cool and that's amazing. It's really promising. And so I think now in this day and age, I'm really proud and honored to be a mom, because I see that the future is so much more brighter than it was when I was a kid growing up.
So you mentioned when you, of course, become pregnant, decide to have a baby, you're looking at, time away from soccer. However, you were back on the pitch, less than 5 months after giving birth?
Yeah,
How is my question.
Yeah, that was crazy, right? I mean, that was wild. Yeah, I think throughout my journey, I always realized that, every woman's different. Some people want to be pregnant and they want to be off to the side. They want to be, in their own space, doing their own thing. And I respect that. I think you have to find what works for you, what is going to give you peace of mind, what's going to allow you to, just realize your new reality of like motherhood is around the corner. And I think for me, staying in and around the game as long as possible was what gave me peace. I was showing up to the stadium every single day, cheering my team on. I was still able to do some drills off to the side, be a bounce player that kind of was, like I said, just playing balls in and not in contact, obviously. And I was on the field up until a week before I gave birth. And that was, people probably are like, that's crazy, Like, my teammates were like, are you going to give birth on this field? And I was like, I surely hope not. That is really not what I'm planning on doing. But that gave me so much comfort in knowing that I'm still an athlete. Like, I'm still here, I look and feel different, but at the same time, like, I'm still going to push myself to do all the things that find me, give me peace and give me a lot of joy in my life. And I think, me coming back less than 5 months, post, I think, was really just me being determined. It was really important for me at the end of 2022 to play in at least one game. I actually finished the season playing in 6 games, I think, in the NWSL, and 4 games internationally. And that was big for me, because I knew this year in 2023 was a massive year for women's soccer. And I wanted to give myself the best opportunity to be in the best place possible to fight for my roster spot, So as much as I'd like to believe that what I've done in my past has put me in a good place, like, the reality is that there's good players out there. Like I didn't want to just coast and feel like, yeah, just because of my name, I'm a shoo-in, you know? So I think playing at the end of last year was my way of saying, like, I'm dedicated to this game. I'm dedicated to the journey. And I just want to give myself that best opportunity to make that roster.
Yeah, and I can't lie, I think for a lot of people, seeing you back on the field was obviously brought them a lot of joy. Also, seeing you score that semifinal banger
Let's talk
coming in,
about it.
we had to talk about it. Like we were gonna
Yes.
talk about it. So can you walk us through the play? Like what was going through your
Oh my God.
mind? Like
So
just walk us through it.
yeah, I mean, I sub into this game. The game was wild as I don't know what. We go down in the first half and we weren't playing well. So it was kind of one of those games where you're like, we could just lose this game. We're not looking good. We're not playing well. Then my teammate Rocky ties it up right before halftime, right? So boom, 1-1. Then, you know, I'm watching the game. I'm like, all right, this game is still kind of wild. But if I sub in, like, I'm going to give it my all and do what I got to do for the team. And so when I get in the game, I remember feeling good. Like I had made a couple of tackles. Like I was, you know, when you're just in that zone of like, okay, like the world, everything is simple, you know, like I just got the ball, played it. I wasn't trying to overdo anything. I was like, all right, Crystal, calm down. Don't try to be the hero here. Like just get it and play it, get it and play it. And then we had a corner kick. And, you know, for me, it's like, as I see the ball go in, I was like, all right, let me just get in around the box just in case something pops out. And then lo and behold, this ball is trickling at the top of the 18. And I just remember being like, get there first. And I made clean contact with the ball. And, you know, as it leaves my foot, I was like, that felt kind of nice. Let's see where it goes. And then it sails into the net. And I just like, yeah, I mean, to this day, I still have chills because that goal meant more than just setting my team into a semifinal. It really captured the journey. It captured, you know, why I pushed myself so much to come back this year. I mean, no one would have cared if I took all of last year off. Like, the expectation for me was you just had a baby, like, take your time and come back when you feel up to it. And I think for me, that goal really meant how, like, it showed my dedication. It showed, like, how much I really wanted to achieve the goal that I had, which is to play in some games before the end of the year. And so, like I said, that goal meant more than just sending my team into a final, which is incredible in itself. But it was just a special moment to say, like, Crystal, you're good. Like, you're okay. Like, you're an okay player, you know?
Understatement of the year.
I also do want to mention two things. So I work for CBS. So I was coming back from a show during like while stuff was going on, and Andre and I actually tweeted at the same time saying, "It's a beautiful day for Crystal Dunn to score a banger," and I'm not joking. 10 minutes later, like the ball's in the back of the net.
Can you guys
like,
keep that up then? Keep that energy, please, coming my way. Like, clearly you're my lucky charm. So I appreciate that. And like I said, I subbed into that game not thinking that I'm really about to do a whole bunch of anything. Just simply like just trying to play my part. You know, I think that's what's really incredible about this game is that being on the stat sheet is great. Like I always, you know, step on the field wanting to, you know, assist, to score, to do those things. But just like something as simple as making tackles, you know, that builds you into the game. That really gives you that like confidence. Like physically, I can compete. Like I'm here. Like I'm in this game, you know. And I think those were the moments that led into that goal, which is like me just overall feeling physically able to like hang and meet the demands of the game. So yeah, what a special moment.
So this is, I didn't plan on asking this, but I remember that game, and I remember Rocky's goal was great too. Does she ever be like, "Hey, why'd you upstage? Like nobody remembers my goal."
I was like, she did. The thing is, she had an incredible goal too.
Rocky's goal was absolutely incredible, and first of all, it kept us in the game because we were looking busted in the first half. I was like, "Yo, we don't look good. This is gonna be a long game, you know." And yeah, her you know, her volley was really nice. So I had to say, let me go up a level, Rock, and challenge you. And, you know, no, but both goals, honestly, it's just like special moments because like they're momentum changers, you know, like, you know, every goal is probably important in a game, but it's like the timing of the goal and the like, you know, the impact of that goal. I think both goals felt like, all right, momentum is in our favor. Like we're going to pull something out of this game.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite moments. I think Meg Linehan tweeted the YouTube video of it like last week or something, and I was just like watched it all over again. Like it's outrageous. It's one of my favorite moments. I wanted to move on to a little period where we want to talk about Marcel a little bit, you know. saw him, on Instagram stories, kicking a soccer ball around, chasing it. I think he tried to do a step over and fell. Maybe, we'll work on that. But
the man's coordination ain't where it needs to be, but we're gonna keep working on that. But I mean, yeah, he's such a fun kid. He has so much personality. He makes everyone feel welcome and loved, which sometimes I'm like, okay, tone those smiles down. Don't give those out for free. Like, you gotta be a little stingy with your smiles. But he really, I mean, I joke with my team, he's like the communal baby. Like, anyone who needs a laugh, who needs just something, some joy in their life, I just easily, I'm like, here you go. Y'all have him for, as long as you need. Don't, lose my number. I'm actually going away. So I feel like he just is a breath of fresh air. He's been so easy to travel with. I really lucked out. Like, he travels well. He sleeps on every airplane ride, like most of the flight. Like I said, his personality is just shining through now, where you feel like you can interact with him. Like, he's not a toddler yet, but like he laughs at you. Like, he really shows you, like, I'm paying attention to what you're doing. So it's been really great to share him with everybody. I'm a firm believer that it takes a village to raise a baby. So I couldn't do this alone. My teammates have been so supportive. Everybody who I, bring around him has been just absolutely amazing and just helping me out in everything that I need.
Does he have like a favorite one of your teammates?
Favorite auntie?
Oh, yes. Auntie? He loves his Auntie Sophia. He loves Soph. She is so good with kids. I keep forgetting that she is so young, and I'm like, okay, slow your roll. Don't be so good with kids. Like, you are a kid yourself, kind of thing. But no, she's so mature. So she's great with babies. She's loved my son from the moment, she first laid eyes on him. And having her just as a teammate on both teams, national team and club, has been great. She gets a lot of Marcel time.
Are you aware of, this is kind of a kind of like Black soccer Twitter kind of question? Are you aware that he is known as Young Nephew? Like, all of us has adopted him as Young Nephew, so that is Young Nephew to us.
Yes, I am aware, and I freaking absolutely love that. I think that, like I said, it makes me feel like he's everyone's child. Like, I really love having a son that, like, people can really vibe with him. Like, he is going to make you laugh. He's going to laugh at you. He's going to smile. He's going to show you that, that he's happy. And that's what you want as a parent. You want your kid to feel joy. You want everyone around you feel like they can kind of participate in his development and in his growth. He's turning 1 next month. What am I saying? Oh my gosh, he's turning 1 next week, guys. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I have mom brain. He's turning 1 next week, and I can't believe it. Like, I literally can't believe it. And I'm throwing a big birthday party for him, which every parent does for 1-year-olds, and they don't even need a birthday party really, because they don't remember anything. But the party to me is really just allowing everyone to be a part of, like, the journey. There's so many incredible people that have been there from day one until now, and I'm just like, you guys, this is a celebration for all of us, for making sure this baby is alive and well. Like, shout out to everybody. Everybody's getting high fives for that, because, like I said, it takes a village to raise him. So I look forward to that.
I love it. And we also have to ask, how are your chickens?
They're great. Actually, I'm surprised you can't hear them, because they're actually pretty loud, but maybe, maybe you guys don't, but they're doing well. I did lose 2 last year. So it was really sad. I started off with 5. So one I lost actually right before I brought the baby home from the hospital. So, like, you can only imagine, like, I have this new son and this baby, and I'm, like, so happy, but then it's like I lost my chicken. So I'm also, like, devastated and sad. So it was a hard week. I love animals, and, like, everyone's probably like, it's a chicken, why are you so caught up in it? And I'm like, no, once you name an animal, like, that's your pet, like, that's your life, so I lost her, right around May this time, and then I lost one later in the year, and it's been kind of sad. They don't live very long, so it's like I expected them to probably, at some point have some unknown kind of illness at some point, or they just sadly, like, die unexpectedly. But I have 3. They're remaining. They're laying their eggs. I give my eggs to my teammates whenever they ask. I don't know if you guys know a lot about chickens, but they lay an egg every day. So you can only imagine, like, that's a lot of eggs. Every single day, guys. Each chicken lays an egg. So I'm just like, by, like, Wednesday of each week, I'm like, guys, I have, like, 4 dozen eggs. Like, who wants these? Like, who wants these eggs?
So many eggs. Oh
they're so
gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I should have known this about chickens before I got them, obviously, right? Like maybe I should have done some research, and then all of a sudden they just started plop, 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 plopping these eggs out, and I'm like, okay.
I did not know that. That is so many eggs.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
crazy. It's crazy. So send me your addresses, y'all. I'm mailing you some eggs because this is OD over here.
Say wow every single day. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
So
It's
many
like,
eggs.
really, can you stop
Like,
for a
do you
second?
have
Just
like a frittata party? Like, what do you do with all those
I
eggs?
know. It's like I like eggs, but I don't
not a
eat eggs for
potato
like
party.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner like every single day. So like I said, by the middle of the week, I'm kind of like, what should I do with these eggs? Like, I do like quiche. So sometimes I make quiches because like you can use a whole lot of eggs and like you can save it for like days down the road and stuff like that. But no, I run out of ideas. I mean, there's only so many omelets that you can eat on a daily basis. So therefore, like, I'm just left with a lot of eggs.
100%. So we do want to transition so quickly to talking a little bit about the midfield. Andra and I feel like will gladly say that we are leaders in the put Crystal Dunn in the midfield brigade. We've been very loud
Absolutely.
about it. I actually think that was probably our first interaction ever in life. Was
Yes.
we were like, Crystal Dunn needs to go in the midfield.
Well, I'm happy you guys mentioned that because, like, it's not a new headline, right? And I've been talking about how I feel like my most authentic version of myself when I play in the midfield or at least higher up the pitch. And, I did a GQ article last year, and it really was an article that I feel like for the first time I was able to, like, just voice my journey, where I've been, my journey into motherhood, and then obviously my journey on the field. And it got a lot of buzz, positive in some ways, and then it caught kind of some probably negative moments because obviously me speaking in favor of one position means that I'm obviously bad mouthing another position that I play, and it's not really about that. I think what I felt like I did in this article was speak from a very truthful place that I don't normally get to speak from because I think everything in my world is always be diplomatic. If someone asks you, do you love playing outside back? I've always been like, yeah, I love playing. I love to be on the field. I'm a competitor. Anywhere that I can play, I'm gonna play. But the question wasn't, do you love playing outside back? It was, where do you want to play? Where do you absolutely love playing? And my answer was in the midfield. I feel like my skill set is it's really about being creative, being fluid, being able to break lines, being able to connect with people around me. And I just feel like as an outside back, I don't really get to do that. I'm a little bit more, tied to basically being connected to the back line, and I don't get to move up top as much as I'd like to because you're at the mercy of what the game presents. And so, that article was really me just coming from a very truthful, authentic place and just sharing that, this is what I would choose if I had any say over where I get to play. But the reality is my journey has always led me down this versatility road of wherever the coach kind of needs me, I'm kind of dropped in that place, and it comes with its perks. I think it's almost like a backhanded compliment in a sense. It's like you're really good at many things, so whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter because we're going to put you wherever we need you. And I think that's part of my story. It's part of my journey. When I share and speak to young kids, I always tell them that versatility is great. You're going to be one of the smartest players on the field when you get to play multiple positions because you read the game well. You get to appreciate all the angles of the field. You get to appreciate every position as well. I mean, I know what it feels like to be a forward, a midfielder, and a defender. So best believe when I'm in the midfield and my forwards are making defensive runs backwards, I'm like, yes, like I appreciate you guys for doing that, So I think my versatility has come with a lot of perspective, but it also comes with a lot of pain, kind of, a lot of feeling of you don't belong any place on the field. You just belong where the coach puts you, and that doesn't always feel great. And I think I always tried to hide away from saying that and being honest about that. And I think maybe being a mom has made me realize, like, I'm about to speak my truth. Like, I'm a mom now. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to please everybody because that's impossible to do. And I think what I realized in that article is that I feel so confident in what I've done in my career and who I am as a person that it's now time for me to speak my truth. And like I said, it's not throwing shade on my position on the national team because best believe when I'm playing outside back, like I am bodying people out the way and I'm doing what I have to do to be the best for my team. But, like I said, the question wasn't, do you like playing outside back? It was, where do you really want to play? Where do you love playing? And what's your best position that you see yourself playing? So.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like under and just a little bit off that answer. But we have like, um, do you feel like there maybe will still be a possibility, like leading up to the World Cup, maybe in the World? Look, we don't know what's in Vlahovich's head. Maybe he does
Oh
something crazy.
gosh. Oh man.
But do you think that's?
I would say I don't think there's a real possibility. I think where I am is where I am. I think I accept and embrace it. I mean, I think when I'm in club, I try to ball out in the midfield. I try to do my thing. I don't let my role on the national team hinder kind of what I can contribute to my club team. It is a different boat that I'm in than any other player, because when you go from international duty to club, you're pretty much playing the same position usually, so you get to like hone in on all the things that you need to do in your position in club, so that you can be the best that you could be internationally. And I think for me, that's not my journey, that's not my reality. When I catch up with my national team coaches, like, they're not really able to really provide me feedback, because it's kind of like I'm playing outside back on the national team, and then in the midfield they're like, all right, you're playing in the midfield in club. Like, I don't really know how best to give you feedback and stuff. But I think it's just part of my journey. It makes me me. It makes me special. I think, like I said, when I was younger, I feel like I used to be a little like bothered by it. But I think now I'm kind of like, I step into this space where I'm like, no, this is me. This is a space that not a lot of people get to walk in, and like, that's okay. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable anymore. It makes me feel like this is actually like my superpower. This is like me being me and doing what I need to do and showing up for my team.
So I have a question about that, kind of, especially from fans, because we in the trenches sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
like, no, you don't
I'm
understand.
stirring some stuff up.
Right, like y'all don't understand what Crystal Dunn in midfield, like, that is, it's incredible. So like, do you get frustrated a little bit, or is it kind of annoying that people who kind of just watch the national team, and that's happening less and less thanks to accessibility of the NWSL, but like people who just watch that and think like, no, she's a great left back. That's what Crystal Dunn is, when people may not realize that actually you have a much better position that happens to be in midfield.
Yeah, I mean, it probably still does frustrate me. Like, I'd be lying if I'm like not irked at any point during the season. But I think I used to fight so hard against it and be like, why can't I get my way? Why can't I get my way? And I feel like I probably then started not playing at my best, because I was so caught up in things that I'm like, honestly, it's really out of my control. Like, unless I'm prepared to knock on a coach's door and be like, hey, I demand I play here. Like, the reality is, like, where I'm at is where I'm at. And I'm somebody that is super competitive. Put me anywhere, and I will prove that I'm the absolute best in that position. Even if I joke around and say like I'm part time, left back, I'm part time midfielder. Like, but to me, I'm so competitive that I'm like, I don't care if I've had 2 reps before this. Like, I'm going to show you that I'm about to be the best, or at least that's my expectation. And so when I first started playing outside back on the national team, like, yeah, there's some nerves, there was some uncertainty, there was doubt. I wasn't the best in that position at all by any stretch. I was timid. I didn't know, even though I'm relatively quick and fast, it's like being fast as a defender doesn't mean that you're guaranteed anything. And so I had to learn how to use my strengths and actually be better and be a student of the game. And so when I started doing that and investing in myself as an outside back, like, I learned, all right, I can do this. Like, I can do this, because to me, it's just a challenge. You're asking me to stop ultimately the best players on someone else's team. Like, to me, I'm like, I accept that challenge. And I think that's a big part of why in 2019, like, I just balled out. Like, I did what I had to do. Like,
Yes,
my job was to
did.
shut players
Yes.
down. I said,
And you did that.
cool. Like, you know what I mean?
You
I
did
said,
that.
cool. Like, that's my job. I'm going to do that, And, I think looking back, I was like, man, going into that tournament, I was so nervous. I was like, man, there's so many doubters out there. Crystal's not a left back. Crystal Dunn is actually what Crystal Dunn decides to be that day. That's what I am, And I think, again, it's like people, the doubt that creeps in is people not knowing my game, not knowing what I'm capable of. And that's fine. That's always going to happen. But I didn't ask to be part-time. Like, I didn't ask to be a part-time outside back or a part-time midfielder. Like, if I had my way, I'd be full-time midfielder, But the reality is, like, that's not my reality. So now for me, like, to me, the game of soccer is simple. It's like, you gave me a task. Like, I'm going to execute it to my best ability. And even if I fail one day, like I'm showing up the next day and I'm going to give it my all again, So that's really how I attack handling kind of both positions. It's like, yo, the coach gave me a task. Like, cool. I'm gonna do what I got to do.
Hearing you speak, I'm now fairly confident that if they were like, we got to put Crystal in goal, I'm fairly confident you would make a worldy save and like keep.
I may be
I have that
chipped from
confidence
half
in you
field,
now.
but I may be chipped from half field, but I'm gonna put on my bunny rabbit shoes and get some leaps in. But that's one position that I'm like, yeah, please, dear, but do not put me there. Do not put me there.
Would you? I am kind of curious about this, and Andre and I are going to move to quick rapid fire. But I am curious. Would you say, having played outside back, that you now attack better? Now that you have to think in the mind of a defender, go when you do get the chances of going forward, you're like, oh, I'm gonna like shimmy my hips this way to make them think I'm going this way and cut another way.
Definitely. I mean, I think anytime I get to experience playing in different positions, like I add what I know from one position into my new position. I think for me, when I'm playing in the midfield, like I know how important it is to be that midfielder that tracks back and that supports my outside backs when they step and when there's players running in behind. So like all the things that I've learned from just observing the game from different angles, I implement into my game. And like you said, as an outside back now, it's like, yeah, I'm an attacking minded player. So there's moments where I pick, to basically say like, all right, I think I can create numbers up in this situation. Like me hanging back is actually not helping the team, but me getting forward and getting involved is actually going to give that extra edge that maybe my team needs to send a cross in, and things like that. So like I said, I've learned to kind of use versatility as a superpower. I'd be lying if I said that it is a smooth sailing road from here on out still. I think there's days where I get a little frustrated, but at the end of the day, I embrace it. I own it. I accept any challenge given to me, and I always like to prove, not even to myself, but just prove that like your mind is so powerful. Like what you believe you can do, like you would be amazed that you can actually do it, and I think that's something that I learned throughout my years is just like, don't be afraid of a challenge. Don't shy away from a coach saying, hey, I want you to do this. Just you be like, okay, this is maybe not what I saw myself doing, but at the end of the day, like you've given me this challenge, like all good, let's go.
So having said that, we know it's probably too early for the 2023 World Cup, but these things happen in cycles. So the next cycle after the 2023 World Cup, can we get very loud about Crystal Dunn in the midfield for the national team? Do we have your permission? Because I would love to. I need to see it. We need to
Oh my
see it.
gosh, guys. Well, first of all, I have to have a good year this year. The year just started. I'm just dipping my toe in.
How
So
many
I
goals
think,
have you scored already? You got
yeah,
four?
I mean, I scored 4 goals already, which is nice. And
And
I get,
assists.
Right.
I feel better each game too, which I think is so important. For me, it's like it's really having a good strong start is important, but it's really about getting yourself to a place where like things feel so natural and you just feel like you're almost on like autopilot. And I want to get to that place. And I think any preparation is good preparation for the World Cup. I'm not playing my position that I do play, obviously, for the national team, but I think fitness, being healthy, like those are two important things that every player looking to play in the World Cup need. So for me, it's like building that strength, building that confidence, and regardless of where you play on the field, like connect your passes. Like to me, I'm like, I just got to keep this ball moving. I got to, continue with my vision. If I see a ball that may be risky, like continue playing those balls, continue taking those risks. And I think that's just going to ultimately help me when I do transition into the national team, is just that awareness and that vision that I always, as a player, want to continue building on.
All right. So the final for the 2023 World Cup is on August 20th. So August 21st, we will start the Crystal Dunn midfield for the next cycle. That's what we're doing.
I'm gonna be on my parade. I'm gonna be like, let's get it. Yeah, we can start that after that.
Yes, love that. Real quick, I want Portland fans to plug their ears because Courtney and I are both big Chelsea fans. No, you played for Chelsea in the
I'm
past.
a Chelsea fan, yes.
Yes, you are. And so my question is, we would not be doing our civic duty as supporters if we did not ask you, would you ever go back?
Portland fans, close your ears. I'm open to it. I mean, I had a really great time playing under Emma Hayes. She was absolutely incredible. She had coached in the league in the NWSL. Actually, it was WPS at that time, I'm pretty sure. And so she really valued American soccer, like our mentality, our like never say die kind of mentality. And I think when I got to Chelsea, she really wanted me to help kind of the team with that. Like she was like, Crystal, you're so positive, you're so gritty, you're so like just passionate about the game. Like, can you, continue just like having that leak into our environment? And I was like, yeah. So I just remember our trainings there. Like I was like the number one cheerleader, the number one like kind of that person on the field that like everyone's probably like, okay, she's so annoying, but I'm like, no, like I'm energized, like I'm fired up. Like whether we're doing 5v5 or we're doing a passing pattern, like that was something that I feel like she appreciated about me. So for me, I felt valued there. I felt like I got amazing training. I was there right before the WSL is actually what it is now, like scheduling wise, and just how visible the league is now. And so it's actually incredible to see where the game has grown and what the teams over there are doing. Chelsea also just won the FA Cup third time in a row.
Yes.
So, we're popping. So would I play over there again? I'm very open to it because my experience there was incredible. And, there's so many great people that were involved in that organization. And, I think I'd be welcomed back. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but...
I was going to say, keep your ears plugged, Portland fans. Emma Hayes, make the call.
I'm going to call it right now. All right, we want to move into rapid fire. We will ask them rapidly. You don't have to answer rapidly.
Okay.
It's never actually been rapid fire every time we've done it. Technically, we kind of already went over this, but your favorite goal that you've ever scored?
Oh, you guys know what it is. It's definitely that goal in 2022 against San Diego, helping my team get into the final and first goal back from pregnancy. So, like, pretty cool moment.
That
big moment.
I felt like that had to be it. But you
Definitely.
scored a lot, so we had to ask. I want to know because it's obviously more than just goal scoring. You got an all-encompassing game, and one thing that I also love is you got many ways to get by a defender. So it was like the best skill you pulled off, where you were like, "Ooh, I got you!"
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I'd like to believe that I am fast, but I'm not the fastest on pretty much all of my teams. Like, I think I'm kind of one of those like top 5 kind of players where I'm like top 5 speed, top 5 quickness, top 5 fit, maybe. But I think my runs in behind, I feel like no one really sees coming because like I'm not this like player that's like super like, yeah, I'm getting in behind, but I do like as a midfielder, whenever I'm able to, creepily kind of push up on the line, and then as my maybe outside back gets the ball, and then I kind of dart in behind. So I would say that that's kind of my favorite run that I make. But we can't be saying too much of what my skill is. I don't need people
Right.
scouting me and knowing what I'm trying to do on the field.
I mean, I will say I did tweet this past weekend for the brace you had. I said, why do y'all keep letting Crystal Dunn open in the box? Do you not want to concede goal?
Open? People are sleeping on me because they're like, listen, we don't even need to mark Crystal. She's clearly nobody. So, okay, well, they clearly think I'm nobody. So, yeah.
It was very silly. It was a very silly soccer IQ. But I was like, okay, you want to lose games. Okay.
I hope they keep doing it. It makes me happy.
What is your get hype song?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know if I have a song anymore, but I definitely have Cardi B on repeat. I don't even care what song it is. I just feel like whenever I hear Cardi, I'm like, yeah, it's game time. Like, let's go.
I feel like this is a question that I feel like I already know the answer to. So it's best dancer on the squad, but I'm pretty sure that's you. So okay, who's number 2?
I mean, listen, other people have maybe said it, but here I am to validate it. I do think I'm one of the better dancers on my teams. I love to keep the mood light, like I like to remind people like, yeah, we play a sport for a living, but like, let's get the vibes going, So, but I do love music. I think music and sports are like the 2 things in this world that connect people. They make people feel happy and joyful. And so whenever those 2 things collide for me, I'm just like, yes, like, here we go.
So who's the number 2 best dancer on Portland and the national team?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Portland. I would say, oh, man. There's a lot of close seconds. I feel like, first of all, the thing you have to know about in the locker room is, like, people are shy. Like, even if there's a good song on, people are kind of like, they do the shoulder bump where they know that they want to do more, but they're like, am I going to get judged? So it's actually hard to know who's like kind of like in the race for second, because I'm like, people just want to do the 2-step, and I'm like, I know you got more than that. But Kelly Hubley is somebody in the locker room that she's like my hype person. Like whenever I'm just feeling it, she won't let me dance alone. So she's going to be my number 2. And then on the national team, everybody has their own swag. Me and Pino be trying to, learn new moves. I be trying to, get her to, just be up on the latest dance moves, I would say. But again, I don't really know close second. I think on the national team, I think a lot more people dance though. I think like the vibes, people really get crazy.
If you're trying to keep up with the trends, does that mean you're on TikTok a lot, or you're like getting pulled into TikTok
so I have
dances?
a TikTok. I don't make a lot of TikToks, but I am a scroller, which is bad. That is like bad. You need to throw your phone away. Like you could be on that thing for like hours. So I try to stay up. I'm a mom now. I try to remind people like I'm not old and washed up. Like I still keep up with the latest. And so yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Awesome. And so what are you like watching, reading, listening to? Obviously, we know you have a baby, and babies take up a lot of time, but maybe when Marcel's like taking naps, like what?
So I do love to read. I actually got a Kindle recently because I love handheld books. Like I'm old school. Like I love to like actually flip the pages of books. But I did get a Kindle because now you can read them in bed. You can just have them on the go. I started the series. You guys are gonna laugh at me. I started a series 2 years ago in the Olympics. It's called Throne of Glass. Megan Klingenberg recommended it to me, and I actually recommended it to Kristen Press in the Olympics. Well, Press went on to finish the whole series. I am still on book number 5, I think, out of 8. But the joke is that, I had a kid, obviously, between the Olympics and now, and I've just been trickling, like slow reading. Like, I feel like it's almost like a page a week that I'm reading. That's how slow I've been reading. So I do love to read. I'm trying to get back into it. Now that my son is kind of, a little bit more durable and able to kind of walk around and do his own thing, I think, like, my reading frequency will pick up. My hope is that
you should start a book club.
Exactly, I should, right? I should. These
club.
Kids, man, they always want some time, they always taking my time and energy away.
One thing also, I don't think anyone, or I'm not sure if anyone has ever asked you this question, but why do you wear the number 19?
Ooh, okay. Well, this is actually an amazing story. So in college, I wasn't tied to a number really, so I wore the number 5, right? Random number, no issue. But the thing about UNC is a lot of legends came through UNC. So you have Christine Lilly, you have Mia Hamm, and all those numbers were retired. But then because there are so many great players that play at UNC, eventually those numbers have to like kind of come back out of retirement because we run out of numbers. And so number 19 was Mia Hamm's number in college. And I remember it was coming out of retirement, and she actually asked me, like, would you mind, do you want to wear the number 19? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to disgrace this number. And like, Mia, what do you mean? Like, I can't wear your number, And she was like, no, Crystal, like, I want you to wear this number. And
oh, that's dope.
I wore it. I was actually able to retire it because I had Mia Hamm's name on one side, and then I won the MAC Hermann in 2012, and so my number then went into retirement. So Alessia Russo actually wore number 19 at UNC after me, and on both her sleeves it was Mia's name and my name. So till this day I wear 19 because it's a nod to Mia. She's been so incredible in my journey. She used to be around UNC a lot and gave me some massive pointers when I was just a college kid trying to find her way and not knowing, where this game is going to take me, and so she was somebody who always would, reach out and just say, you're doing great, like, keep going. And obviously, internationally, she's this legend. And so just, I carry that number with me everywhere that I go, every team that I go to. I've been fortunate. I've played on 4 professional teams now, and the number 19 is always available, guys. Like, nobody wants it. I'll take it, So yeah, it's a pretty cool story, but not many people know. I think they think I don't know, chose this quirky number, but it actually has a lot of meaning to it, and yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think that's an awesome story. That's really really cool, and I want to find that. I need to find a picture of Russo in that jersey because I want to see
Yeah.
what Hammond done on the sides. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe the most difficult question we've asked. This is going to be tough. Your dream five-a-side.
Oh gosh.
It's the last
Oh
rapid
my
fire
goodness.
question, so take your time.
Wow. 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 Okay. So me, gotta have little old me on there. Definitely Soap Smith. I mean,
Mhm.
she's just gonna pound some goals in there, like shoot from all angles, and like, you know, I think Katerina Macario.
Mhm.
She's so good on the ball, like crafty in tight spaces. I mean, if she's not playing 11 aside, like I can see her balling out in futsal. Like just her skill. Um, let's see, that's three. Okay. Rose Lavelle. I mean, she's
Ooh,
good. She
she's
just
gonna be
like
saucy.
literally weasels her way out of like any space. And let's see. We're gonna have to have Becky Sauerbrunn. I mean, she is gonna make sure we are locked and loaded. Make sure net no ball is getting in the back of our net. And I obviously, she's one of my bright spots of why I actually enjoy playing outside back on the national team. I mean, playing next to her has been absolutely incredible. So Becky Sauerbrunn for sure.
That is an absolute incredible five-a-side. Y'all could score
That
a
is.
billion goals, and also no one would ever be able to take the ball off any of your feet.
Absolutely
Like
not.
that.
I mean, we'll have the ball the whole time.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Thank you again so much. This was so much fun. This was awesome. I really appreciate the openness, the answers, and joining us because we just a little old podcast and trying to do some stuff, and we are so thankful and grateful to you for giving us your time.
Yes, thank you guys so much. This was so much fun and incredible. And thank you guys for what you do. Like, keep spotlighting the NWSL, women of color in the sport. Like, it really is incredible what you guys do. So thank you.
Truly,
Humbled.
thank you.
I'm gonna end it with Courtney laughing.
Thanks for listening to Diaspora United podcast. Please subscribe and rate and review us anywhere you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Diaspora United Pod. That's Diaspora UTD POD. And message us if there's anything you want us to talk about in our next podcast. See you next time.